What's your caught in a NSFW situation at work? Working at a butcher shop. Backroom caught on fire due to faulty wiring. I grabbed my meat and beat it. I was a janitor in college dorms. I worked with this 160-something dude with bad legs. One day my supervisor walked in on him pants down, jacking it in the janitor closet. The way he tells it, they both locked eyes. Then he just turned around and left. His bad legs were irrelevant to the story. It was just a distinguishing feature. My bad. Yup, that's usually how I handle it too. What if someone else is already using the closet? This happened to me yesterday. I was at a BBQ with some coworkers and friends, and we were all tossing a football around on the grass. Ball comes to me, I go for a slight dive, and then I hear this savage rip throughout my shorts. Everything ripped, and all my junk fell out in front of everyone. One homie was a team player, and gave me his sweater, to use as a kilt for the rest of the day. I caught a couple of married co-workers going it in the parking lot. They're married, just not to each other. Husband and wife, father and mother happily married, but not to each other. I read that to the tune of, "Hello mother." They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. It's so funny how they think no one will notice. You two start hanging out all the time, going to lunch together, you come back red in the face, and drenched in sweat, and you think nobody notices? I'm sure Bob and Phyllis just didn't care. Walked into the bathroom to see two male co-workers looking at one of their crotches and saying, "Yeah, I'm taking you to the hospital right now." Turns out that the guy being examined was special needs and needed help knowing if he needed medical attention for a nasty skin rash. Turns out that it was just heat rash from wearing really hot clothing during the summer. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Gotta help a homie out with a diagnosis sometimes. I was working a construction job a long time ago, and I was watching this beautiful woman who was walking down the street. Gorgeous legs, a short skirt and a low-cut blouse. I couldn't stop staring. But I probably should have, because I wasn't paying attention, and I got slammed in the head by a 2x4 that was leaning against something and fell down. I was wearing my hard hat thankfully, but I was dazed for a moment, and had to sit down. It was then that I learned to appreciate work safety. At least you can remember the good part. I caught two female coworkers making out in a closet. Once caught, they tried to cover by saying care to help us. Now here's a problem. I would have, but three of the bosses were right there with me. They hadn't looked into the closet yet, so I said I'll help later. Got the bossman with me right now, and quickly motioned to my right. They got the hint, buttoned up their shirts, and got out of there. No one ever found out, but I never got to help. It looked like an interesting project though. Wait, you never followed up though? Seriously, I would have sent them both a meeting invite to make sure it was in everyone's calendar. Not quite caught, and not quite NSFW, but at work, comfy on the bowl, pooping and reading. I finish up, reach for the toilet paper, and my back completely goes out on me. It felt like somebody kicked me in the spine, and I couldn't move. It took me an hour to be able to move enough to wipe and get my pants up. Another hour to hobble into my boss's office to tell her where I had been, that I was in agony, and that I needed to go to the doctor. I ended up getting prescribed a month of physical therapy and therapeutic massages to get over that tragic wiping incident. Congrats. This is the only comment in this thread that I've managed to laugh out loud at. I had a temp job that didn't provide enough work, so I would regularly browse the internet in my downtime. The boss didn't like that, and after the third time catching me, she refused to renew to contract with me because I worked too efficiently. Clearly any internet browsing isn't safe for work. I, once, was caught browsing Reddit. I was caught using unnecessary commas. My boss said it wasn't safe if I wanted to continue working there. I was later fired. Loose definition of work, but I jacked off in a church bathroom and got caught as a preteen. That made for an awkward confessional. I was an altar boy. Shouldn't the priest be helping you? I was doing a confined space entry, and the confined space caught on fire. We got out fast. Towards the end of my shifts I have to clean the bathrooms. I knock on the women's room and ask if anyone is in there. With no response I walk in to clean. I find one of my women co-workers flicking her bean in the handicap stall. It was awkward, but she didn't stop. She left the job shortly after. I had to change a bunch of light bulbs above a staircase. I found a box that was just the right height, so I put the box on one stair and balanced the ladder on the box and the upper stair. My supervisor saw me and told me it wasn't safe. Unsafe handling of workplace supplies, flagrant disregard for health and safety, and caught in the act by a supervisor. You absolute filth bag. When I was 15 I had to be dropped off at my lifeguard gig early every day, since both my parents worked. Fast forward a month and a promiscuous girl 1 year older than me asked for favors. Didn't think it'd get head that summer, but it was easily the best summer I had in high school. My boss once caught me using a chair instead of a ladder. Sorry OSHA. A new girl completed her trial shift and was invited to the Christmas party because the owner thought it would be a good way for everyone to get to know her. Her manager spent the majority of the night hanging out with her, and we later went home and slept together. We thought we had been discreet when leaving the party, but apparently our drunken selves weren't as subtle as we thought and everyone knew the next day. Naturally, she was mortified and was freaking out, but I was able to reassure her that it would blow over and I wouldn't treat her any different to any of the other employees. She happily worked there for another 2 years before moving back to the US.